I guess, you know what, I've always, since I was a child, I could hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was something I really could do. And by that, I mean, I could put the ball in play. I wasn't a big, strong kid, hitting a lot of home runs, but I could hit line drives, and I could hit with 2 strikes. And I could hit with 2 strikes, and I was probably about 8 years old. And I'm just saying that because I didn't strike out a lot. You know, I didn't like to strike out a lot. I took it personal, and I was taught early on how to hit with 2 strikes. And obviously, I had hand-eye coordination. Those are God-given gifts that,
Yeah.
you know, obviously. But I really could hit when I was younger, and then when I got to junior college, I was taught the importance of fundamentals as a hitter, being able to move a runner over, being able to hit and run, being able to hit a ball, drive a ball in the outfield with less than 2 outs and a man on third, being able to foul. I knew how to, like I said, I already knew how to 2-strike hit, so I already had that with me. But I learned, I guess, the different nuances of what hitters have to do.
Yeah.
So that was probably my biggest strength that I had when I was younger and got into junior college and college and all that. Once I got into professional baseball, because I had gone from shortstop to second and I had gotten pretty big, I didn't have it in college or when I was younger, but I got a label defensively that was my weakness when I got into pro ball. Now, I didn't make a ton of errors at any level I played at, from the minors on up, and it probably wasn't until I got to the major league level where I learned. In the minors, I played strictly second base,
Yeah.
and I think I played 1 week of third base. I got to the major leagues, and in my second year, the first week, a guy got hurt. First baseman got hurt. Then the manager comes to me and goes, "Can you play first?" I said, "I can play first." I had no idea. He threw me the first baseman. I ran out there, and what I did was I just worked. I watched a ton. I'd already learned when I was younger to watch baseball game, not just the game, but I'd pick players. I was taught that when I was young. So luckily I watched first baseman play and watched different infielders to try to pick up things. So I pretty much learned on the fly as well as being taught. And the same thing happened at third, where I got moved over and played third at the major league level with not having any experience, just because a guy got hurt and they said, well, just catch the ball and get it over there. So I guess for me, I got to a point where defensively I was dependable. Is probably a good word. And always dependable. That means I catch everything. It doesn't mean I'm not flashy or do anything out of the ordinary. I'm just dependable. So for me, I guess the label was can hit and then the defense, but I never was told why defensively I didn't. And then I got to the major league level, and my manager, Jim Fregosi, was just catch the ball. So, you know, you have different things, that labels that you can get that can be called a weakness when you're playing. And just because everyone has to have a flaw in some, you know, for whatever reason, everyone has to have something that is, and for me it was that, and it was more, that was a label I had in the minors, but I realized the major leagues that it was different, that it wasn't about necessarily how I looked, but the job that I did. So those probably my strengths, my weaknesses. Probably one of my other strengths that I felt that had nothing to do with baseball was I always felt that my work ethic I could work, and I loved work, and I loved taking grounders, I loved hitting, I loved doing all the things that would get me ready for a game, and I worked to it to the point that I felt that I could outwork anybody, that I could take more grounders than anyone in the world, that I could take more swings. You know, that was just my little game. I didn't play, I wasn't an everyday player, so I had to make games with myself in order to get me to make sure that every day I was doing what I needed to, just in case I got in a ball game. So my thing was work, and I felt like I could take more grounders than anyone, and I would take as many grounders as I could. And I felt that, even though I don't know if it's physically true, or I always felt that for me, my desire could go farther than someone's ability. meaning that if I had someone that I was competing with and they were better than me, I could get to balls that they couldn't get to, even though they had more range than me, because I wanted the ball more than them. That was something I really, from a mental standpoint, I felt that mentally that my mind was so strong that there were things that I could do that physically I probably couldn't do, but I didn't know I couldn't do them because I kind of tried to train myself to do these things in order to stay at the major league level, because I know that as an everyday player, or as a major league player, I wasn't an everyday player, so I'm expendable. As a utility player, you're expendable. So in order for me to stay there, I had to outwork everybody, and that was probably my biggest strength. That wasn't a physical tool.
Sure.